you just do it, it'll turn out okay.
Right.
And I am
Right.
here with my guest for the week. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maya Adkison. You can find me at Maya Adkison on all of the things. So here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or whatever it's calling itself now. Anything else I'm on?
So what do you do on YouTube? What do you do for fun or for a job or whatever?
Well, my job is human resources, which tends to be really boring. Nobody ever wants to talk about employment law. I On my channel, I like to tell people, I'm sorry, show people. I don't know. How to explain it. I like to make people question their beliefs. Like, what do you think? Why do you believe it? So, my favorite things to do on there is, like my SJW stuff, where we're talking about, I don't know. We've done things on, oh gosh, can't even think. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Tongue tied.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of stuff on pushing. I think conservatives have the narrative right now, and so talking about different things and pushing back. So we've done a lot of stuff about trans. Like I've had Bree, who's been on here from High Side, Stephanie Holmes, who's I don't believe has been on here, but she's been making the rounds a lot lately. I did I'm trying to think of what I was talking about, and I totally lost the code switching. That was it. That was one of my first streams. Respectability, politics, white guilt, all those fun things about like what it actually is, and how everybody kind of feels it in some way, shape, or form, and how like it's not a scary thing. The other things we do is they've been more popular lately. The Bad Science Sunday, which we've been doing every Sunday, I think, since January, and that's taking very popular anti-science things and just kind of laughing at them and ridiculing them first and foremost, but also like kind of showing why it's wrong. It's like, this is fallacious thinking like, what's going on here. But I think it would relate to most people watching your show because it's a lot of people that have been showcased on Dapper Dino's chat, Sir Sick, Logic, places like that. And I'm sure a bunch of other places, but yeah, I mean, and pretty much doing the same thing where somebody says, hey, this is true. And we're like, yeah, that's not what's up. So
yeah, I've been focusing more on the anti-science lately because I have two nieces now, and I like to try to make them grow up in a not dumb America.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that. They're really strongly trying to defund education. It's kind of sad, but it is what it is. So yeah, it's going to be really important that people keep themselves educated and that they're countering the bad.
So were you always pro education and science, or is this a more recent thing?
Yeah, believe it or not, I was raised Catholic, and Catholics are pretty pro science.
That's true, a little bit.
Like I was taught about evolution in the 8th grade. I don't, I don't know, but Catholics have a history, like priests being scientists, and the Pope championing, certain things. It's not championing certain things. It's been a long, complicated history with the Catholics, but they've never been like
Sorry.
they've never been against the science. I think that at best they've not, we don't take a stance on this, or we're
Uh,
withholding judgment until more information comes out. But and I could be wrong. I don't really keep up with the history of Catholics, but like my education is very staunchly.
yeah. So was it the other reasons that you eventually left the Catholics?
I initially left because I felt like I needed more spiritual growth. And when I graduated, there was just church services. So I didn't feel like I was getting what I needed out of church service. So I went Protestant.
And that's where I had been, in the Protestant side, Southern Baptist.
Okay, yeah. They're pretty cringy.
I have been learning that since I have left. I don't know if I knew that before and just was blind to it, or if my certain brands wasn't that crazy.
Mine wasn't. I mean, because I was always in Black churches, so we didn't get any of the racism. And then also growing up in the North, I mean, it's kind of weird. Racism up here at least is kind of seen as like what Southern hicks do. It's not bad people are racist. So even though they are racist, it's more like, well, everybody knows that Blacks aren't smarter than white people. We don't have to say it. Like, it's more, I don't know, kind of that unintentional slight, more so than, it's not as overt. And I don't think people see, I don't think a lot of the white people see it. And a lot of the Black people don't see it either. When, you try to do things, it's, always, you speak proper English, you trying to be white, or it's like, I just want a decent job. I'm sorry.
What is proper English anyways? Wouldn't that be taking the English? Wouldn't that be a proper England English? Wouldn't that be proper
well,
English?
Yeah, when I was little, the kids
English?
used to tell me that I spoke like cartoons. It depends on where you go. So I'm normal for middle-class Black people, but for kids that were coming from like lower socioeconomic statuses, there's a lot of Ebonics. So people didn't speak like me.
Yeah.
Black people. White people speak like me. Black people don't speak like me. And that's kind of what they think. But I think it's more socioeconomic because I see similar differences, just like it's just different, but I do see similarities in the white community too.
Well, for me personally, I did not know until recently, give or take 10, 15-ish years, that my name is more like my real name is more of a Black name than a.
Yeah, there's a lot of names that kind of get Black names when they get popularized. I worked with a girl, her name was Natasha. She was Russian. And people would tease her like, oh, you have a Black name. Anything like some weasels in a trench coat looks like one entity from a distance, but fine, there are multiple components when up close.
Yeah, my bio mom was a fan of a show from the 70s called Sanford and Son.
Oh, nice! I love that. Yeah,
and she named
Fred Sanford. Fred Sanford or Red Fox? I would love it if your name was Red Fox.
Name
No.
is
You don't have to tell me your name.
everyone.
I'll just. You're wearing a red shirt. You're Red Fox today.
Okay, but yeah, well, I was named after. I think I was named after his
Okay.
character's son.
Okay. Yeah. Hell. I remember. Oh, crap. I can't think for crap. Yeah, I haven't seen Sander and Son in probably a good 2 decades. But
Well,
yeah,
neither have I.
but well, yeah,
Well, I was
you're never
born
gonna
in
forget
the
that name though. I remember Fred. I remember Elizabeth. I remember there was that old like mean like sister in law or whatever. I don't remember her name either. But I used to love it. It used to come on after school when I got home. No, yeah. And then what was another one? There's another girl I met. She's first generation American, and her parents were they Greece or something like that. Her name was Lucretia, and which it's either Greek or Roman or something like that. And the people would always tell her, it's like, you got a black name. Another one that got, Andre, which is French, but obviously black people love that name. And so now it's a black name. Free. I know, no trivia, no trivia. It's been a long Saturday. I've been up awake since like 8. But I can't think about simple words.
uh, nice. I didn't go to bed yet until 4 last night.
You didn't go to bed till 4. Oh
Yeah,
wow,
4 a.m.
good for you.
Well, I worked until one
Oh
a.m.
yeah,
So
it takes me a while to wind down too.
at least it's not as bad as back when I worked 2 jobs and rode the bus for 2 hours of that day. That was
Yeah.
really fun times. But so was your deconversions like really fast, or was this very slow?
Um, my deconversion from Christianity was like having a band-aid ripped off. It was really
Us.
traumatic. And yeah, like it was really traumatic. It took me a year to kind of get through it. I was suicidal. It was bad. I didn't try anything. Um, but it's kind of weird, and it's like having all your hair ripped out by the roots, if you can imagine. Like, and I'm sure everybody here kind of went through similar things where, you know, slowly recognizing that, oh, that's latent Christianity and that's latent Christianity. And I hadn't realized like the extent to which I had woven in my Christian beliefs to like every facet of my life. And when that's just all
Yeah.
teared away from you all at once, you don't know what's real anymore. And it was just so discombobulating. And, I came to the skeptic community from the woo community. Um, because I just kind of dove into everything. It's like, well, what else am I being lied to about? And I want to know everything. I want to know, is there really, people on Mars or people on the moon, or can you astrally project, or, what's up with all these other religions? I looked into everything.
Yeah, my leaving the church was quick and fast. The leaving the belief, however, was a little bit long. Take a little bit longer
Yeah. I mean,
for
and
me.
now it was a valuable lesson, because now, it's kind of got me to the point where I am now, where it's just like, is that true? Why do I believe that? Let me double check. Um, and I think more so, what I see people doing is like they'll do, quote unquote, do their own research, but it's just like mommy blogs, and I'm like, maybe that's not the best source for vaccine information.
Yeah, that I did not realize all my life. You know, all my life, growing up, I thought the anti-vaxxers were more on the left side than the right, because you're thinking about the alternative medicine, the
Yeah,
crystals like that.
right.
I thought, but all of a sudden, when this thing hit in 2020, here comes all these right side people like dissing the vaccine and science. I'm like, when did this? I'm like when did they become the anti-vaxxer side? I'm like, what? It was a whole world like flipped around a little bit during the pandemic.
They were until COVID. I was actually just about to say that, yeah, where it was a lot of crystals and Jenny McCarthy kind of started it, and Hollywood people tended to be more on like the meditation, they got out of Christianity, and when you get out of Christianity, you do tend to be more left leaning, and it's about kind of hippies, and
the only extreme right people I ever knew about were the people that prayed instead of going to doctors and stuff. Like I only take my kid to a doctor. I'll pray it. Those were to me those were the extreme people. And all of a sudden, now that the majority people,
they're still pretty extreme. But then COVID came and the Republicans weaponized it or politicized it, and I don't know. I think Tap is here.
Oh, yes.
Hey, we were just talking about how crystals can solve cancer, and Gwyneth Paltrow's vag juice can get rid of blemishes. Was that a tick? Care to weigh in, Doc? Oh, wait, you're muted.
I think you're muted.
Or something. The computer was just like, no, you don't get to hear this.
How about now?
Oh yeah, now we can hear you.
Cool. So yeah, I heard, I didn't hear about the crystal cancer cure thing. I think probably like my brain just blocked it out for my own safety. I'm like 3 sips into 1 glass of wine, so but I did hear the observation that you made, Vandalia, about how it used to be that the anti-vax crowd was like the new age kind of left wing. That was sort of where it first took hold, or at least the post Andrew Wakefield version of it first took hold there. I don't know if there was any anti-vax movement to speak of back when polio was getting shut down. But
yes, I actually did look into it when I was I wanted to do some research for a stream I did with Ember, and there's always been anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
But our government actually used to have balls and say, "Shut the fuck up, you idiots," and take the shot. There were times when the government actually went through, blocked off neighborhoods with the National Guard, dragged people out of their homes, and shot them with vaccine. I was like, man, that's when the government used to work for the people.
Yeah, I just have 2 sayings: one pre-COVID and one post-COVID about anti-vaxxers. And first one, when the rumor was vaccine could cause you autism and stuff, that rumor. I'm like, well, I'd rather have autism than polio.
Most people would.
Because I have a friend's mom who has polio, and it's not good. And then the new one,
it's not good.
And the new one post-COVID was, I'd rather have that microchip in my arm than a tube down my throat.
I do like I get where it's coming from though. Like if Trump owned the company that came out with the vaccine and they like got a deal to like do it in a shady way, which would not take much to convince me of,
right?
Would I want a Trump vaccine? Right? Like once you actually put it in terms of the, Bill Gates is not trying to microchip you. He really just wants history to remember him nicely. That's he cares about that. He's a narcissist to that extent, and that's a pretty healthy way to be a narcissist.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you making money also helps mankind, then sure, I guess. Um, but I asked a lot of questions before I took the COVID shot, like a lot of questions from like actual health professionals, like doctors, nurses, um, biologists. It wasn't just, and I needed it for my job, but I was willing to quit my job if it was like what he's saying, like a Trump vaccine. I'm like, I'm not doing this. Also, the other thing that got my attention was that all the like once the vaccines were issued, all the elites like say hoarded it, but like they all got stuck before it was even offered to doctors and like first responders. And that's when I was just like, okay, they're not bullshitting. Like, there's just no way that all the elite in the country are taking the risk of going down. You know, not even for Trump.
Yeah.
Like they understand that this is deadly and that this vaccine can.
Most of them. I don't. Did MTG get it?
I don't know that was she in office at the time? I don't know.
Well, maybe not. I don't know.
It was like 90. It was like 95 or 98% of Congress. I'd have to go back and look that up, but it was, yeah. And then like, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
During the initial vaccine stuff, I had Dr. Dan.
Dan Stern Cardinal or the other Dr. Dan?
Dan Cardinal, the virologist, one that studies in viruses. I had him on, and we talked about all that, how vaccines work and what viruses are and all that stuff, and all the rumors about them and stuff.
Yeah, it's a fascinating topic, and he's like, and it's one that shows up in sort of the also in sort of the young Earth creationist sort of thing, in the like ERVs, endogenous retroviruses and stuff like that, which he knows, a ton about. He knows all about how these things sort of impact the various genetics and whatnot. It's like pretty nuts what viruses actually do, because they literally can rewrite your DNA. And if it happens to a germ line cell, if it happens to an egg or a sperm cell, that can propagate down through the population.
Yes, I actually made a joke about that.
You joked about it?
Well, kind of. You know how the Christian side says sin is inherited we inherited sin through Eve and all that, or Adam or Eve, whatever. I'm like, what is sin like an ERV or something? It got through Eve or something. And we all got it afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like that. But instead of being made out of DNA and whatnot, it's just made out of bad theology. But what we're finally able to do, these new the vaccines that came out for COVID, I think were the first mRNA vaccines. Now, this is not a topic that I know like a great deal about, but my dad was a pulmonologist. My mom's a registered nurse. I have a lot of sort of medical background, and my dad, the vaccines were just coming out when he passed away, but he was a pulmonologist, a lung doctor. He hated COVID. He hated COVID in the way that only an ICU lung doctor can hate a respiratory disease. And he thought that the vaccine technology he was blown away at how amazing and awesome it was, compared to like, he died at the age of 78. So his older brother got polio, and has side effects because he got polio as a child.
Right.
And so what we're able to do now with these messenger RNA vaccines is we're able to kind of do what vaccines do, not vaccines, viruses do, and go in and really do our own like biochem stuff and manipulate exactly how the cell like lets things. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, real fast. Run chat real fast. That's the excuse I've heard a lot of times for anti-vaxxers.
What?
That is the first one.
It came out too early.
I was actually just about to talk about that too. I've heard that from a lot of people, not even anti-vaxxers, like people who don't have a problem with vaccine. But like all the other vaccines took years to come out.
You and I said in response to that, I said 20 years ago, I had a computer with a 5 gigabyte hard drive. And I thought that was amazing.
It was
big. That was big and amazing, 20 years ago. And now this thing is barely 5 gigabytes is a game or something.
Yeah, like you wouldn't accept that on your phone, right? Today.
But yeah, technology has improved in 20 years. So imagine how much medical technology has improved since the last time we needed a major vaccine.
No, yeah, like after I think it was Ebola, like they were just like enough. The next time something big like this happens, we want to be ready. We want to have everything except the component of the virus. We want to just be able to like get down and go. And they've been working on that really steadily. But it's not like they broadcast that to any idiot. We found out about that when people started asking, why is this taking so fast? Why was this so fast? How do you get this up and running in less than 5 years when everything else has taken a minimum of 5 years? And I wanted to know that. So I looked into it. I asked questions. You can call the ER, you can call your doctor, you can, pull any nurse, maybe not any nurse. But,
you can't say any with any of this stuff, okay? I like to debunk flat earth. So
but yeah, and there were a lot of nurses spreading misinformation, and I had to hire a lot of them. I'm just HR, and I had to talk to people about usually GNAs about why they should get the vaccine because it was required for hire. And I talked a lot of people into getting the vaccine. So like probably at least no less than 2,000 people in my area. So I'm very proud of that. But
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
People, but it was from asking these questions. There wasn't a single question that they asked that I couldn't answer. And that's how I was able to do it. And so I wanted to do it for myself. I wanted to do it for my kids. And, I am happy to say that, I'm part of a coalition that is helping to do that for my neighborhood as well.
Yeah, so with me having both, sorry, real fast, and with me having both asthma and sleep apnea, the side effects or risks, was to me was not as important as the thing because getting COVID itself would have been a much worse possibility for me.
No, when I was learning, I have a history of asthma. Normally, it doesn't bother me until I get sick, but everything equals asthma. Allergies equal asthma. Flu equals asthma. The cold equals asthma. The one time I had COVID, thankfully it was like a month after I'd gotten, I think, one of the boosters. I want to say the Omicron booster. And so I really didn't feel anything. I had like slight sniffles. And, but what I actually did feel was like the inflammation of my airwaves, the way I usually do when I get asthma, but very slightly, not enough for me to even pull out an inhaler. But that was the thing that made me want to get tested because it was, I don't know, it was different than allergies. And I work in a healthcare organization and there was COVID going around. So I was like, all right, let me take this test. And sure enough, but a month after I had the booster, I had no real symptoms outside of that. But when I'm like learning about people who are like in these beds taking up oxygen tanks, like that scared me because my body will do that to me anyway.
Go, Dr. Tabioka, you're about to say something?
I have ADHD. It's gone. That's not a problem. But for the record, that's never a problem. I flit from idea to idea like constantly.
Yeah, same.
Like growing up, we would pretty reliably, probably at least 5 nights a week, we would have dinner together, me and my brothers and my mom. Oftentimes my dad was still at work or something, but we would have dinner together and talk and stuff. And when people would come over and like visit, they would sometimes. This happened more than once. They would see the four of us just like rapid fire, just jumping from topic to topic like psychos, and they would literally just sit there and go like, "You people, you're like zoo animals." And then we would like remember, we'd like, okay, yeah, I changed back to this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And that's why we're talking about Tootsie Rolls suddenly from this conversation that started with the dangers of right-wing extremism, as one does.
Speaking of changing subjects real fast, I just got 2 texts. Apparently, Matthew Perry drowned.
Wait, the guy from Friends? How the fuck did he drown?
Probably by inhaling water.
I know it's got 2 texts about it.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
I feel bad for that. I didn't. That was reflexive.
Yeah, it's got this. My sister and a friend just texted me.
He was found in a hot tub.
What? Yeah, 54 dead. God, and that's from TMZ, so you know it's true.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Are you like a Friends fan or like?
I was back in the 90s.
I haven't gotten a text like that since Michael Jackson died.
Vandalia.
Yeah, I watched it back in the original airing. I don't really watch the reruns that much, but yeah, I was a friend in the 90s and 2000s. I watched it every Thursday.
Where does 1998? What is that a reference to?
Year I graduated high school.
Oh, hey, me too.
Okay.
Were you even born yet?
I was born in 1991.
We're old. Yeah. Vandalia is the same city I grew up in. 98 was the year I graduated. Something I actually used to hate. I used to hate that my graduating class because they're a bunch of bullies and stuff.
A bunch of bullies? Well, yeah, high school. It's what they do.
Yeah, but then I made it something. I decided to turn it something more good. I don't say good or not, but more positive.
So did you like go on to prom, become prom queen, close all the doors, start a fire, and walk out covered in your enemy's blood?
Well,
no. My prom was pretty.
Look at him. He's like, well, it's not untrue.
I danced with and took a picture with a girl I had a crush on. So she was friendly. And we had dance. We had a picture taken, but it was just a casual thing. But yeah, there's a rumor going on around that I was gay back then, and
you're not allowed to be gay in the 90s.
A major thing.
Yeah, you were only just starting to be allowed to be gay. In high school, you were allowed to be gay when I was in high school, but in middle school, it was the go-to insult. So, yeah, it was weird.
No, in the Midwest, no, not an option.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, there's a rumor about it. It was so bad that I actually had to leave. I had to leave school. Technically, I went to a trade school, JBS, my senior year, because the picking on me was so bad back then. I just couldn't deal with it. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I was talking to Bree about that too, and because people were like, "Well, where were all the trans people when we were young? Like, this is a fad." And I'm just like, I remember how mean people were to people who were perceived to be gay. I don't even know what it would
And
be
that's
like if you were
so,
actually gay.
I know that's one of the main reasons I'm a fighter for them, because if I got that much trouble for just the rumor
Right.
of me being gay or whatever, the actual people going through it who actually are probably
Yeah.
going through it
And,
much worse than
when
I ever
I'm
did.
everybody was like, back in the 90s, I was in the closet. I'm like, that's self-preservation. Like,
Yeah.
that's not, like, I'm so serious. Like, I can only talk about my area of the Midwest, so Illinois and the surrounding states, but it was not an option to be LGBT or T.
Are we from similar areas of Illinois? I can't remember. I feel like we've
I
talked
was from
about this.
Peoria. I think you were closer to
Okay.
Chicago.
Yeah, much closer to Chicago.
Yeah, I'm from Southwest Ohio. I
Much more
already
similar
told
to Peoria.
Maya this.
Yeah.
I already told Maya this. I'm about an hour away from Cincinnati, give or take the Art Encounter Face Museum.
Yeah, he's like a
there
stone's
in that
throw away
area,
from the Ark
hour
Encounter.
away.
It's like, eh, God.
I want to go. I want to go to the Ark Encounter.
I don't
I
understand.
want to go again. I want to go again. Last time I went, I was in church, but I want to go again with like say a new set of eyes I had back then. Even though I wasn't really creating this back then.
Yeah,
either.
I was like, apparently this takes people by surprise. But like when I say that I used to be a young Earth creationist, I mean like when I was 12. By the time I was in high school, I was already like, well, that just doesn't make sense. And it was also a thing that my church never spent any time on. So it like...
Yeah, my church. Yeah, my church. Growing up, my church was more of an OEC than a YEC.
Yeah,
same.
Yeah, and like I get the sense that a lot of people in my church, because my mom is still very much a part of that community, and I get the sense that a lot of them are young Earth creationists, but it doesn't come up because it doesn't have to.
I'm just saying though, like, why are we worried about this?
Yeah,
I really don't understand why science and religion have to be introduced to one another.
Growing up.
But again,
I
like when I was
staring
coming
at
up,
each other from across the room, all science class, and it's really awkward.
Even before I left the church, even earlier, I'm like, the YC never made sense to me because I read I read books about like the Americas and the ice spread 10,000 years ago. I'm like, how could the flood happen 4,000 years ago if Native Americans were crossing the bridge 10,000 years ago? That makes no sense to me.
I found out about YAC's. One of the nuns did religion class, and she just kind of said in passing, laughing. Oh, what did you do?
I just turned on my camera for a moment, but I'm still here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I don't know if the chat can hear you though. But okay, cool.
They can.
Yeah, no, she just kind of said in passing, but laughing, that there were people who only believed the world was 6,000 years old. And, we're like 12 years old, and we're like, what? Why? And she's like, I don't know. But yeah, that was a nun who taught science class. So
Maya, are you on the wrong channel?
Me?
Or did you just change your username on YouTube?
None of that happened.
Okay, well, I'm because the symbol that I'm seeing on.
Okay. You know what? Yeah, I am logged in. Oh, because I was okay. Yeah, no. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm still logged in under my alt account because I've been binging Ken Wheeler for a couple of hours, and I don't want that nonsense to interfere with the shit I like to watch.
You've seen Ken Wheeler, right, Vandalia?
Oh no, yeah. I'm getting more wine. Go.
Okay. Ken Wheeler is the subject of It's Tomorrow's, right? Well,
yes.
Yes. Ken Wheeler is the subject of tomorrow's Bad Science Sunday. Ken Wheeler is one of my favorite people to respond to because he is a master at word salad, rivaled only by one man.
Roger.
And that man is Austin Whitson.
Mm.
Austin,
Carl Baugh is his own version of word salad. He takes it to an art form that is it. His word salad is like he's like the Tommy Wiseau of word salad, whereas Ken Wheeler is more like, I don't know. Oh, they're very different flavors, but yes, I agree with you. Carl Baugh, he is phenomenal because he is so convinced that he is the most brilliant, most lucid and clear and eloquent communicator of all time, and he is in his efforts to demonstrate his own eloquence. He is the least eloquent and most rambly, convoluted speaker like I can imagine. Ken Wheeler is less convoluted and more just he starts a sentence and he does not know what galaxy that sentence is going to end in. Neither does Carl Baugh, but Carl Baugh creates new galaxies out of his imagination. I don't think any of that made sense, and that's appropriate.
I thought I had problems speaking because of my stuttering problem, but yeah, him like what?
Yeah, he doesn't even stutter.
Yeah, listen to him talk.
You kind of have the same like when you're listening to it, it's just like okay.
Stuttering because sorry,
I don't know. You're actually stuttering. It just reminds me of me when I can't think of a word. I work with some people of like where I really have to like once they get it out, I have to put it back together. But yeah, it's just like, and it's kind of it reminds me of that where it's just like, all right, how do I make this sentence make sense?
Yeah. Well, because Ken Wheeler knows that his audience is they're dumber than a bag of rocks. They have no idea what's going on. Yeah. They think that he's brilliant and that they understood everything that he said when what he said was incomprehensibly dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
He says things like magnetism is obviously just the dipole capacitance of the anticipation of potential energy, which is in itself its own dielectric medium of the transubstantiation of magnetic potential, which is, of course, emoted and manifested through the convolution of the ethereal inertial field with its own potentiality.
He didn't say anything. I
didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. You know what I said? Nothing. I said nothing. And you're gonna see that word written in big capital letters, a whole bunch on this right here whiteboard tomorrow. Okay? This here, it was a tally from a last time. I might try and also do a tally. Maya, we need to get a counter.
All right, I'll see if I can boot up.
I gotta figure out, but it needs to be like a panel of counters. Or maybe I should set up bingo for tomorrow. I don't know.
Maybe bingo, but I think we do have a counter. I don't know. What are we counting? Like, because if it's like random bullshit, I'm not going to be doing anything else.
That's the question. There's so many possibilities for what to count. It can be when he says that scientists can't do a thing that scientists do all the time, like define energy. If having
energy isn't energy, they just tell you that this is what energy is. Energy is actually not energy.
What? Okay, I watched I watched several chunks of that video. Shit. Sorry. I spilled.
Ooh, yeah, don't do that. Keyboards do not like wine, and I know this from experience.
And the wine killed his keyboard.
Yeah, wine, coffee. They're fickle things.
That was my bad. Yeah, that was my bad. I was pulling caps off of my keyboard, and I guess I like refreshed or something. So I'm just.
Do you even whiteboard, bro?
All I do is the forever whiteboard. Am I not? I guess I'm not there. Yes, I whiteboard. That's like I have this okay, so I have a new office, and the whiteboard in my new office is one of the nice like glass ones. Oh, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just got a new computer, and I can finally use my
nice.
green screen. Besides being
Lovely
that's not green, that's white.
It's white bricks, yeah.
That's true.
Oh, see, I can see a little bit of it through like the little arch in the headphones.
Yeah.
I tore the bricks down the backyard in 2 seconds.
Well, it's a lovely house you have there. It's nice and sunny on the East Coast at almost 10 o'clock at night. Loving the view from your backyard.
So you mentioned that you deal with flat earthers too.
He does. I do not. I refuse, except on his birthday stream.
The whole bad science thing. And we're not even doing flat Earth on my birthday stream. We're doing a whole other thing that we might.
Yeah.
It might become a thing. I don't know.
YEC with the YEC.
I made a joke about flat earthers too. What's the difference between flat earthers and YEC?
One thinks the Earth is flat, and the other one thinks it's young. Sorry, I'm an asshole.
That too. But one has only had 200 years to give the program. The other one has 2,000 years to give the program.
Yeah, I mean, has flat Earth even been around for 200 years? 2,000 years. Okay. Well, it depends on how you count it, actually.
Yeah.
Because both of the modern versions. So the thing is, for most of the time, people just didn't know how old the Earth was, and they didn't choose a particular number. I suppose the friends of like Bishop Usher, they probably thought it was 6,000 years old, but you had to wait until.
Well, more of the creationism problem than the actual age of the Earth thing.
Okay.
Like, evolution was.
Okay. I see what you're saying. The question of the like diversity of life got like answered for the first time in any substantial way, like by Darwin and whatnot. And the question of the shape of the Earth, like if you've been able to do basic, like basic trigonometry.
Yes,
right. And also you have to know basic trigonometry to get a number for it. You don't have to know that to like be able to sort of reason about it, because it doesn't make what it. They look like they're on a fixed thing that goes around like this, and if you just are careful about the measurement, it is very clear, and it has been for a long time. I had a conversation with a flat Earth friend of mine about the precession of the Earth's axis through specifically the lens of how long Polaris has been the pole star and how it's moved and how it's hasn't been a pole star for the entire time. And back in the Greeks, it was a full 12 degrees away. And in doing so, I slogged through and I found like the original, or pictures of the original, some of these original texts that obviously I can't read. And then they have like the Greek below it, and I can't read that. That's all. It's just Greek to me. And then the translation, and it's giving it in terms of like degrees, minutes, and seconds, but it's giving it from the ecliptic plane. It's giving it from the coordinate system where the Earth is going around the sun, not from the axis of the Earth, and those are different by 23.4 degrees. And it's not the math that you have to do to correctly transfer from one to the other it's not advanced trigonometry, but it's not like basic trig. You have to know what you're doing. I couldn't just do it on the fly. I couldn't. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. No. On the fly, if you gave me a year, Google.
Literally my job, though, right?
Right. Yeah, so I wait around for people like you to figure it out, and I read about it and trust you.
Yeah. My brain isn't. I wish I could do the go to the find all these papers and stuff and look them up and hand read them all.
Yeah, it's hard to read them all, and I wish most people. I don't know. I really hate the idea like where people are like, "Well, science is just an opinion."
Oh my! Sorry, I shouldn't swear.
No, I have the same thing.
Don't worry,
I'm like, science is a fact-finding process.
Don't worry. I unless I am not what's the word, AdSense or whatever, so my channel isn't big enough to care about this stuff. Hopefully they don't care. So swear away. I don't. No one cares.
Well, is that because you just haven't like signed up for it? Because you're totally big enough to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, subscriber count, yes. View hour count, no.
How many more view hours do you need?
That number changes because I think that's sort of a moving goalpost with YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, right now I checked, it's like 4,000 hours a month.
You don't have 4,000
a month now? Oh, I thought it was a flat number. I didn't think it was a
you have
per
to
unit
maintain
time
it.
requirement.
Which is weird because I know people who like haven't streamed, like just will stream once every other month and are always monetized. So I don't know if they got grandfathered or what the fuck happened.
If they get enough videos, like if you're really good at always having your videos pop off every time, like people like Mark Rober. Mark Rober releases one video a month, and every time it is probably going to be number one on YouTube for at least like once during the day it comes out, and it's for sure top 10. It's a big thing. It's all over, and he gets millions of views in the first day, and he makes, I'm sure, a ton of money. And I love Mark Rober's videos. They're fantastic. I wish he was not a Mormon.
A Mormon, God.
He's a Mormon.
Okay. Well,
yeah, but I didn't know that.
I guess we all have our flaws.
I don't.
I thought that. I first read. It's funny. I first read about that. I thought it'd be cool. Oh, you mean you can own your own? You can rule your own planet? Cool. I want to do that.
Yeah, if it was like a choose your own adventure thing. But the thing about metaphysical positions is that they are not necessarily true.
And there's that.
On the stream, you guys were watching early before you came here. What I was watching earlier, they're talking about atheists and politics, and thought about that. Yeah, that's one of the main reasons. First, my parents left the church first of all because back in the early late 90s, they were trying to tell them how to vote.
Wait, they did what?
They tried to tell them how to vote.
They were
something that back then was a lot more controversial than it is now. Everybody's doing it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
They're not allowed to, by the way.
They're still not allowed to, but
Yeah, they were passing at my church. They're back. You vote for these Republican characters, and my mom was like, "No."
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of illegal, but whatever.
Oh wait, no, never mind. Sorry, I just saw.
It was a time that I don't like. Yes, at the time I wasn't paying attention because I was too young to vote at the time. Like, well, I think whatever. It wasn't until later that I realized full extent what that meant.
I first became like aware of politics on any level in 1998, as it were. And the thing that I most remember were one of them was the weird, like, super saturated pink, like me, but like even more so, that Bill Clinton would often be in. And the other was the super, super unsaturated, totally flat, ghost-like look that he would sometimes be. And then the third was Monica Lewinsky's fantastic lipstick, which
I remember the lipstick. Oh my gosh. That was so funny. Yeah, she did that interview, and all anybody could talk about was what color was that lipstick.
I mean...
Yeah, 98 was the first time I could
real well. And, yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, before that, the only interest I was in politics was I thought Bill Clinton thought it was cute back in like.
No, we had mock elections in my school.
Yeah, we did too in third grade.
I mean, you can't tell people how to vote in church, but you can have mock elections so they understand their civic rights and the yada yada.
Yeah.
Which again, Catholics, and I'm not trying to like toot the Catholics' horn, but I like them a lot more than like the evangelicals. With you have to if you don't vote this way, you don't love Jesus, and God lies to you, and you can't like study the earth to learn anything about him. It's just so weird.
Yeah, I never realized they thought so black and white. You're like there's no gray. Like you're either a young Earth creationist,
or you're going to hell.
You're either a Christian creationist or you're an evil atheist evolutionist.
Yeah,
it's literally a bingo square.
Yeah.
Non-yek equals atheist.
Yeah.
Is the bingo square that we use.
If you believe in evolution, you're of the devil.
Bingo. I gotta make bingo for tomorrow.
Oh yeah. It's fun. For the longest time I was a theistic evolutionist until I kind of realized what that meant a little bit.
What does like the hand of God is pushing everything towards something?
Yeah, kind of like if that's true, that it's more like a supernatural artificial selection thing.
Yes,
and it's like how we bred chihuahuas to be cute little
right.
And wolf puppies, or we bred broccoli,
mm-hmm.
and wheat and stuff.
Yeah,
God was bringing God's bringing us primates.
Yeah, that's what I believe too.
Sorry, this is a bit of a non sequitur. It was something that I was going to bring up earlier.
Okay.
So I was supposed to do a debate when Modern Day Debate first reached out to me to do a flat Earth debate or something like that. It was supposed to be with some guy and some other guy named Howard, and I had never seen Howard do anything before. I never ended up debating Howard, and I never saw anything Howard ever did until today.
Who is Howard?
Howard is the person that Matt Dillahunty had to debate like yesterday, and he is off the walls, crazy flat earther. Just
and like Dillahunty agreed to debate him.
Because Dillahunty doesn't look up who he's debating. It's like a whole thing about what he does. He doesn't debate the person, he debates the topic. And in this case, he debated Howard, and Howard is like 18 orders of magnitude below anybody that Dillahunty would normally debate.
It's kind of like the Vosh Jill. Was that Jill? Yeah, the Vosh Jill debate.
Wait.
And I was kind of
Wait,
turned
hold
off
on.
from modern day debate by that time. But when I saw the two people, I was like, I have to see this.
Vosh debated Jill.
Yes. And got Jill to, I think he got him to admit that he's a Nazi or something crazy. I watched it live. It was amazing.
Oh my God. No, Vosh,
I've stopped watching.
Interacted with this part of YouTube.
It was a long time ago.
People say
I kind of stopped watching.
All the fucking time. Was that, I think that was Dapper's debate when they were like, is that Vosh? It's just like throughout the whole stream, they were just like, Vosh is here. Oh God.
Not so much flat earthers, but I stopped watching creationist debates because they all had pretty much all the same talking points, bullet points.
Yeah. Howard doesn't.
This seems like
can I pull it up can I pull it up and like share a short clip of it? I gotta find
a short clip because I too am intrigued.
Yeah, I gotta find it.
Grayson mirrored his debate of a flat earther extraordinaire. What's his name? Jack, you know who I'm talking about. Grayson, the debate.
Which flat earther extraordinary? There's a lot of flat. Whitsit?
No, like Flatsit. It was just this weekend. It was
Flatzoid.
Flatzoid, yeah. Last Sunday, and I was just like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like I could feel my brain melting in my head.
There's like we're looking at that. Looking to share that. There's two things I learned watching creationist debates. One, they can never stay on topic.
He did a good job of keeping them on topic. I'll give him that.
And two, and then like they always bring up stuff that doesn't do what about how the Earth was formed and how the universe would be? I'm like, what's that do with evolution? Nothing. I'm like, why are you talking about this stuff? So eventually I just, whenever I watch the I just fast forward past or the creationist part and listen to the other side because I've heard it. I pretty much heard it all before. I'm like, I don't care. I've heard this before. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, especially if you're watching a Kent Hovind debate.
Yeah, I can't. I just can't with them. And he wants to do like flat Earth on our channel, and I'm like, no. I get mean. I start like cussing and throwing shit.
It's pretty hot.
It's like anything else.
So
what is the thing that this takes you up? What is your
flat Earth?
That's your point of no return.
I won't do it on the channel. I've come close. Like we've done Greater Earth once, and we also did Mirror. What was that one where the moon?
Hollow?
Crater Earth.
Oh. No.
Remember where like the sun is a spotlight that mirrors the Earth onto one of the craters of the moon, and the moon is actually a big projection.
Wait, was that Hollow Earth?
That was Crater Earth.
Well, yeah, but I think they might have been the same. I think it might have been that Hollow Earth, like that was an optical illusion, and it was Crater Earth, but it was like actually Hollow Earth in disguise. Maybe I could be wrong.
We did a different Hollow Earth. Hollow Earth was a different one, yeah.
It remains, like, in my opinion, one of the most absurd ones that we've done. Because the production quality of it is just completely at odds with everything else about it. Sorry. Okay. So if you want to do psychic damage to yourself, feel free to look at some of the nonsense that is on the screen. It's a bunch of just horrible stuff. It's nonsense, and it's bad math and everything.
60 number sequence has 4 zeros that are exactly 15 digits apart.
Yeah, so there's a number sequence, and it has a bunch of zeros, and therefore God. So that's a bit.
Wait, therefore God?
Yeah, therefore God.
Like 4 quarters, corners.
This is a demonstration that he built himself. This does not mean anything, but it's a lot of effort that he put into making something that if I had the sound off, I would be 100% convinced is a complicated board game.
Right, I was thinking board game.
Yeah.
Making a cross.
And so this is the digits of pi, I will say that.
When drawn like astrology, or also it can be drawn like a sine wave.
That is not a sine wave.
The 5s connect in conjunction with the zeros to make 12 sections, like hours per day, night, constellations, and a 12 cranial nerves.
See? 3.14
pairs of nerves plus 1.
Stupid thing.
When we square the circle, we happen to find pi, right on the decimal place.
What the hell does that mean?
I was going to ask you that.
It doesn't mean anything.
3.
Okay.
You're the doctor.
So now he's
put your timer back on with that clarity, and we'll continue.
That, by the way,
Evidence for Noah's intelligence design. This topic. All right, just to clarify, we have 3 topics, everybody. So one is evidence for intelligence design, second is evidence for Satan, and the other is evidence for Noah's Ark. So I'll put your timer back on with that clarity, and we'll
guess which one this is. Guess which one he's talking about right now, where he's talking about first step, part 2 of the first step, and he's got to turn the yellow pi arm that he has over here. He's got a new thing. So he
Noah's
has
Ark?
This thing. Yeah, he's talking about Noah's Ark. Wonderfully done. I don't know how you got there.
I don't know how you got there.
Because
like, that is not.
Because it's randomly like random stuff. Like no.
I mean, so you're saying that the surprisingly like decent, not awful quality craftsmanship on display is not about the historical Satan? Because I mean, I look at this guy and I'm definitely getting historical Satan vibes.
I would probably answer historical Satan before I answered the Ark.
Well, I just thought, like I said, maybe, but since he's already, that makes no sense at all. Anything. So I'm like,
I think the other one was intelligent design. Okay, so we're. I'm not going to keep on going with this too much longer, but I want to
continue.
So what just happened there was that Ryan the mod interrupted to give this clarifying context for the audience because they didn't do that before, and the title of the video is and I want everybody to keep this in mind. We're talking about a guy Matt Dillahunty is debate. The other guy that on the other side of this debate is Matt Dillahunty.
See, this is why you have to know who you're debating.
Did this kill his?
Well, I mean, it happened like yesterday. This was streamed 1 day ago. Yeah.
I can't believe Matt didn't just rage then quit. He
opened it. So Matt, as of this point, I don't believe Matt has maybe said hello, good to be here, but he hasn't said anything else. He gives his opening statement after this.
Double degrees.
God.
So he put so this guy wrote down the digits of pi and went around in a circle with them for one. And then he put on these other pieces of paper that he's moving around, you see. And
counterclockwise.
And he's put numbers on them, and now he's making a big deal about how the numbers line up, even though half of the numbers he put on a bunch of moving pieces of paper that he can rotate however he wants. And then Jesus, can you see Jesus? Because I see Jesus.
I can say Jesus.
It's so obvious when you see the picture. It's so obvious.
And then, so we're on step 4 out of however many of steps. Like, it's a lot of steps, and we're just, it keeps it 5th step. I don't know how many. I think there's only 5th step part 2. 5th step part 2. Turn the blue arm. If you do all of this stuff, suddenly all of the numbers end up in the way that. Right? Exactly. And now you believe in God. Don't fight it, okay? But look at the high quality drawings, proving that phi works in perfect harmony with pi by design, not by chance. And with that, he has pushed over the globe because reasons, which pushes over outer space because of other reasons, and that pushes over the Big Bang, and I think you know why. It's reasons. It's just a hot mess. You're welcome. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
What just happened?
Don't worry about it.
I don't know. I need to reboot.
I think my brain broke.
I thought I saw it all, heard it all before, but
what just happened?
I think we have reached a new low, new bottom of the barrel. I thought Carl or Ken was the bottom of the barrel, but no.
Yeah.
I don't know how to make sense out of what just happened. Jello, yeah, that explains the consistency of my brain. Thank you, Aminu. Or Amanaxu? What is that? I can't read.
So it occurred to me that I wanted to show one more thing from the thing. It's not. We're not going back into the lion's den. Okay. So that's him finishing his thing up. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the first step to getting back to our main screen, everybody. So just before we move into...
So this is Howard. I love the confident expression that he's got going on. Fantastic. Wonderful. And this is Matt.
Matt's opening statement, everyone. I'm just going to do a little bit of the housekeeping. You can see the one day
for the thing.
myself hanging out in Spain. You can get so.
Come on, sorry.
All right. So, hello everybody. Good evening, and evidently my apologies. I find this debate to be irresponsible and ill-advised.
There we go. First words out of his mouth. Evidently, I apologize. I find this debate to be irresponsible and ill-advised. And I gotta say that for somebody in Matt Dillahunty's position, absolutely true.
Yeah.
I think I'm allowed to debate people like Howard, but that's because I'm selfish and small time. Matt Dillahunty is not small time.
Right.
And this guy, so like real talk for a second, this is that level of whatever is not about it being dogmatic. It's literally delusional.
Yeah.
There's actually mental health like implications for what's going on. That is not true with everybody.
I was thinking grifter. I was legit thinking grifter. Am I giving him too much credit?
I think you're giving him too much credit. Yeah, I think he's just done well.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue that. I am unqualified to weigh in either way. But
if everything we saw
based on results, I cannot argue that.
So we know he's a flat earther and creationist. Is this guy also a anti-vaxxer too?
I'm
Does he come in
one
threes?
like I've literally never met an anti-vaxxer that wasn't a
Yeah,
flirter that
second that
wasn't
too.
rather other way around.
Yeah, I mean, because like even the people I'm talking about, they're not anti-vax. They were just skeptical about the vaccine because there was so much misinformation going around. They were totally fine with, doing uh, tuberculosis shots,
Flu?
flu shots.
And,
Yeah.
and the flu
But-
shot, for the record, the flu shot is created new. Not like totally new, but it's pretty new.
Right. Every year they have to.
They do generally predict like 2 years in advance. So generally, the flu shot that you get has been in development for like 2 years, 18 months, something like that.
Yeah,
But
and they
yes.
have to predict what strain will be out and hope that those are the
Yeah.
predominant strains out. And you can only put so many in. So like if there's,
Yeah.
I don't know, if you put in 4 and 6 happen to be going around, or if you put in A, B, C, and D, and B, C, D, E, and F happen to be going around,
Yeah.
which happens a lot of years, where the
Yeah.
major, I remember
It's up and
there was
down.
one
The
really
effectiveness.
bad year.
The effectiveness is.
There was one
way
really
up,
bad
yeah.
year where the major strain was not in the flu vaccine, and most people got it, and it badly.
Yeah, and that doesn't
people are like,
happen
"Oh,
that
the flu
often.
vaccine doesn't work." It's like, no, you just didn't get the strain. Like,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
and you know what? Like, they're not going to get it right every time,
No,
but
but I mean, yeah.
When COVID first hit, I had hoped that it would have been a one and done, like the measles.
oh
Could've
no, it's not that kind of virus.
I mean measles.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been.
Measles, polio, smallpox thing, a one and done thing. But then,
Yeah,
No, like when
I don't agree with
when
you,
we
Maya.
got the
I don't
first
think it could have
mutation-
been. I really don't think it could
no,
have
when
been.
we got the first mutation, it was over.
And I don't think that could have been prevented. I legitimately do not think that could have been prevented. I think that happened before you heard of COVID.
The first mutation.
Yes.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I don't think this was never going to be something. The thing is, coronaviruses are a lot more like rhinoviruses than they are like Ebola viruses. And rhinoviruses are ubiquitous. And one of these decades or centuries, there might be a rhinovirus that decides to turn into a lethal badass like COVID decided to.
Yeah.
And
stopping it.
And then we're going to have the same thing because coronaviruses are not rare. You've had you've literally been infected with dozens of coronaviruses over the course of your
100%.
life.
Yeah.
They're just too.
All of us.
They're just too prevalent. It was gonna get out of the bag, but the thing that you wanted to do was wait until the version that got out of the bag didn't kill 2% of people.
Right.
And the version that got out of the bag did kill 2% of people at the beginning.
It's funny when COVID happened, I also heard about the flu and stuff, or the avian flu, swine flu, whatever it was 10 years ago earlier. I don't even remember that much because it was, I guess the other side wasn't fighting against it, but I guess it was so well either contained or whatever, or not evilly publicized on the other side, or people weren't fighting against it so much that people just got rid of it. But now in COVID, the one side was like, "You can't tell us what to do. We're going to go up the part. We're going to screw."
Yeah, COVID's also just way more contagious than Ebola.
Yeah.
Ebola's just not that contagious.
But I mean, and we didn't inoculate the whole world. I just really struggling to understand why there were whole countries that went unassisted, but whatever.
Who's going to pay for it?
We are, apparently. If we can pay for a Ukrainian war, we can pay for like.
Yeah, but that was that is my current anti-vaxxer or my current line of shut the hell
What?
up, people things. Yours for flat earthers, mine anti-vaxxers are mine.
I mean, I'm thinking of like all the vaccines that we allowed to expire and had to throw out could have gone to whole countries. We could have done more than we did.
The weasel that is generally involved in the vaccine research is one of the less vocal weasels. That is what I would say to our friend Regios. Yeah,
Yeah, fun stuff.
Topical and tropical. They just, are quieter than tapioca.
So, tell me about your was it Bad Science Sundays?
Have you not? I would swear that you've been in the chat before.
Well, I might have
that
fair there, but I'm usually,
you don't watch every Bad Science Sunday from start to finish?
Well, I had to catch the rerun because we usually, when you're airing, I am at work.
No, that is totally fine. Like, but start to finish, like even if you just need to pop it on, and then like take a nap. Like, it is great for the algorithm.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah. If I could listen at work, I would, but usually I'm in back drive.
No.
And people
I kid.
Pay attention to me.
We actually we have a lot of people. I am always shocked at the number of people who listen. Like, we probably double our views after our streams, but like within the next day, of people that come back through and listen. And I am grateful. I am eternally grateful. And always surprised, because I will not just like pop in a 2-hour video and listen from start to finish.
It's something that I put when I do that, when I go to bed, I listen to a stream.
But
yeah, I do. I do that. I probably I do that with Myth Vision a lot.
Yeah,
so
you asked about it. So Bad Science
not
Sunday.
necessarily the news. Some more news. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yes, you're required to watch from start to finish. Thank you for letting me clarify that.
Fantastic, wonderful. Bad Science Sunday. So back in January, I want to say, which I thought it was later, but I went back and looked, and I think the first one was in January. Although we didn't settle on the name until like
January, yep.
April or May.
Yeah, I had to go back and rename them, but yeah.
Yeah. So Bad Science Sunday, the way it started was I was like hanging out on the internet on Sunday in a Flat Earth chat because, there's a Flat Earth live stream and I'm hanging out in the side chat. And then I got banned from the side chat. And I was
he pouted for a good hour.
I was pouting about it. And who was I pouting to?
God,
I was pouting to Maya. And Maya was like, how can you... No, I got to get your mind off of these Flat Earth people.
No, because I just thought it was the dumbest thing ever. I'm like, you
utterly
are
unsuccessful
smart for this. Why?
Utterly unsuccessful in that regard. But so she was like, let's do a stream about something else that's silly, like ghosts. And so
January 16 was our first episode.
Yeah, and so we started streaming at like that one was actually at 6. Now we do it at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Sundays.
Yeah, and we were doing a couple of 3-hour streams, and then he started to complain about that, and I'm like, all right, 2, there you go to 2. He's like, 2 is great.
Yeah, it's like I can do 2. Also, like, I was very new to all of that. Like, I kind of showed up like in the community, like visibly in September or August of last year at the earliest. like Dapper has mentioned, he did so recently, that when I did like a membership milestone chat, it was like 20 months, and he's like, "What? You've been around for that long?" And then
Yeah, I
you
was
got
shocked
Maya
too.
here. Yeah, and
Yeah,
then you got
like,
Maya here.
And I've been with Dapper for years. Like,
But she was like back when he had double digits, right?
Yeah.
I think
He had
maybe
double
you were
digits
too,
when
Vandalia.
Yeah.
Because
I don't
you've
know.
also been around for a lot longer.
He's been around for a while. I don't
Yeah,
know if
you've
it
been
goes
around
back
for
in the double
forever.
digits years, but And so for you to be like 20 months, and I was like, I've never heard of you.
Yeah. So the first time we met was in December.
Yeah, it was my first live stream.
Yeah,
and I was like, and he shows up in my back, like the back, I don't know, like the under thing. What do you call it? Back rooms or whatever. And I'm like, who's this asshole?
Backstage.
Thank you.
It took me for like a minute.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
And I'm like, who's this asshole? I was legit about to kick him. And then Math Pig was like, no. He's cool. And I'm like, okay. And then, yeah.
I was a little surprised you hadn't heard of me.
And then
or seen me, because I have definitely been, like, at that time, I had definitely been in at least 3 dozen different side chats with you.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. By that point, yes, because it was it was December.
Yeah.
That's fine. You are the second most universally like modded mod in this corner of the internet.
Probably.
The first is obviously Titan.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
That was hilarious how that happened. But no, yeah, I've stopped looking at usernames anymore, I'll be honest. Especially like when I'm paying attention to the chat, it's just like, what are they saying? Like if I'm actively modding, I'm really paying attention to who's saying what to who, and then trying to rein that in before it becomes anything crazy. But
yeah, you mentioned 3-hour live streams before earlier, talking about the stuff. Like it reminds me of me and my friends were talking about a game series one time, and 2.5 hours in, we were still on the first game of the series. So that's when we realized we didn't make this a mini series. We talked about each game per video, because 3 hours later we were still on the first game. I'm like, we're never gonna get to the other games at this rate.
What is your? I have a question. Well, this was going to be a topic change, Maya. So if you wanted to follow up on something.
Well, he was asking about Bad Science Sunday. I wanted to answer his question. But if you want to do it.
Well, no, you're right. I meant to answer that. So what we do is we have a guest or more than one guest host, and we choose a video, generally about 30 minutes long. Or less. The one tomorrow is like 24, and it might be tough because it's Ken Wheeler, and he gets a lot of bullshit in real fast. And we basically watch and react and make fun of it and let our hair down and hang out. And inebriants may or may not be required. Hint, they are. Not like de jure, but like for your own safety.
Yeah. We can't do drinking games. There's just too much. Yeah. I mean, Reggio's. He's exactly. Exactly. I mean, like you've got face palm and you've got head desk. I tell some people, I'm like, you may want to stand away from your monitor so you don't inadvertently punch it.
And tomorrow we're doing Ken Wheeler. And Ken Wheeler is a pseudoscientist, just BS artist of the highest caliber. He is not a flat earther. He's everything but. He thinks the moon landing is fake, right? Actually,
probably.
I wouldn't be surprised if,
I don't know that I've heard him say it.
I would not be surprised if he thought it was real, the moon landing. Because I don't know that he's at all legitimate. I think he might be a Poe. I think he might be just BSing his audience deliberately because he's smarter than them and knows how dumb they are and thinks it's hilarious, which, I mean, he's not wrong,
right?
but
it's just it's bad. It is bad science.
It's bad science, and we react to it every Sunday at 6:30 Eastern. And we generally aim to go about 2 hours, but
ish. 2
ish.
hours is the goal. Very
Dapper.
few times.
We kept Dapper for a solid 3.
He would have gone for like more than that, but I didn't think Dapper would. So
we were also wrapping up because the last 7 minutes of that video were just repeating points that the guy had made before, which is like a thing that sometimes happens. But we responded a lot to
even if like I don't know, I just didn't want to like. I think I had told Dapper we were going 2 hours. And
he knew. He knew. He even said, he was like, "Yeah, no, this is going to go long." I also thought I said that before the stream, but I don't think I did. Maybe I did.
I was expecting it to go over 2. Well, I didn't think it would go over 2.5.
Well, if you ever do an earlier Bad Science Sunday or a Bad Science Saturday, and you feel like inviting me on, I love to participate with you guys.
I don't know. I mean, we chose the time slot because nobody else. I mean, we're only up against.
Saturday probably is
only up against Apologia.
The time slot is pretty. Wait, we compete with Apologia? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, we should talk about this then because that's tough.
Yeah, and I'm.
Yeah.
I think that's why we get half of our audience immediately after the stream. But so when we started,
finding
Sundays, there was like a lull. It's Sundays after 5 o'clock. And then there was a period of time where there is still like Ember's on the road, but he usually does something between, I want to say 7:30 and 8:30. There's the shows. There's, I don't know, a number of other channels that do a number of other things. What I love is that there have been a number of creators who are like, well, I want to start doing things again. And they'll mention, I want to be able to see Bad Science Sunday. So I don't want to, do this time. I'll do this time or this day. And I love that. I love that people love to come by and watch us. But
sometimes finding a stream of people you don't have the competition. You don't need to have
the only other day I can think of right now is like there's an opening on Monday, but I really don't want to do a stream after work. My brain's like kaput at the end of a Saturday, and I put in 0 work today. I can't imagine going to work, arguing with assholes all day, and then coming by and trying to be like, ha ha ha.
I'm in Pacific time zone.
Oh, right. And you can...
there's a limit to how many days I can take off work early. And,
which would mean that we're streaming even later on a Monday or a weekday.
You think streaming a Pacific time zone is bad? There's a few of my guests were from Australia, so I did like a 14-hour.
No, Australians are actually pretty good. Most Australians that I know are only on a 12-hour difference from where I am.
It actually works out, yeah.
Yeah, it ends up
like Mark Reed's Australian.
Mm-hmm. Australians actually work out better than Europeans. Because I don't know, like the evening is like, at least on the weekend, your night hours or your day hours are, pretty much you're going to be awake at like 9 a.m. You're going to be awake at 9 p.m. You're going to be awake at midnight or noon. But so I haven't had an issue with the Aussies. The Europeans are the ones, like when we stream with Laura, she just happens to be nocturnal. So it worked out for her. But we don't have a lot of Europeans for that reason.
Well, luckily for me at the time, I was still working third shift. So my 5 a.m. I got off of work was time they went to bed and the time they started to film.
Yeah,
So that worked out
a
fine,
lot of our
really well.
viewers they'll listen to us on the third shift. Like once they get to work, they like having that 2 hour something going for hours at a time that they can listen to while they're doing this, mindless stuff. And then truck drivers too, like Al Trucker, he was like, this is something I can listen to while I'm on the road, and gets him to his first break or whatever.
But yes, Vandalia,
and Dapper actually said the same thing.
We often have we generally more often than not, I would say we have 2 guest hosts at a show. So yes, are there any particular subjects that are of particular interest to you in terms of bad science? Do you have a hankering to talk about astrology or homeopathy? Both topics we haven't really covered much.
Yeah, I really don't. Not really a favorite topic of stupid science. I just I honestly don't know. I am not great at science. Like I said, I was more of a history person. But yeah,
historiography. Then I've been meaning to invite. I have a draft of it. Some people who are more specialized in history besides Dapper, because that's his only actual degree. But it's a little trickier because because history. I'm very willing to go along with the history is a science argument. It's a very different science, and it requires a more expansive view of the word science, I think. But I'm totally willing to do that. I think that we should expand science all of the places. What it requires...
Yeah, history thing that I've been learning more about is in this, the Civil War state was about, people were saying that it was all state fragments of the slavery issue thing we're bringing up now. I'm like, that's still a thing?
Yes, it is. Oh, God. I mean, I grew up in the part of Illinois where that would have been way less of a problem, but yes. It is...
Yeah, stuff that people you thought you knew about stuff, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is a thing now. I'm like, when was this a thing?
The methodology, bad historical practices, bad historiography is it's an epidemic.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's not one that I know a ton about.
And growing up in and it's happening in Ohio too. Growing up in a northern state, you think they have more thing, but no, they're like when did this? When did northern states
last couple decades
start doing this?
Well, since Reagan, I guess, right? Maya would have a better perspective than I'm a youngin'. Okay, I was born in 91. Okay,
I only remember so much of the Reagan years. I'm not that old.
Neither. Yeah, the thing the earliest politically I
remember that. Yeah. Well, I remember hearing about it.
I barely remember.
The Berlin Wall came down either the day before or the day after. I think that I was born.
I think the Challenger might predate us. I can't remember when that was, but I remember. Huh? It was 86. Okay.
I thought it was 85.
86. Yeah. So I was kidding. So I may or may not.
Yeah, I remember somebody bringing in a model of the Challenger, and that's for show and tell. And that's how I found out about it.
So speaking of Challenger, I was reading about this. Do you know who was almost on the Challenger? The guy who played Big Bird.
Interesting. Yeah.
Sesame Street. I'm like, if I think a few months ago, I was thinking, if watching the thing blow up in the school was that bad enough, imagine if we watched Big Bird blow up. I think think our brains have been
Yeah.
traumatized for life at that point. like we're sorry, kids. Big Bird is dead now. Go back to school now.
Well, hopefully they would have replaced him and
But,
not. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
But well, they might have done it because the first episode I remember watching Sesame Street was Mr. Hooper's death. I remember watching anything before that. It's like turn it on. Mr. Hooper died. I'm like, okay. but
I don't know.
what was I talking?
The story of my life. But what I was going to say is there are a lot of the practice of responsible history and responsible communication of history.
Mm-hmm.
It is filled with all of the same tropes, in my opinion, as the communication and practice of science. It's just that it's less objective, I guess, would be one loaded and fraught way of putting it.
Well, sometimes history can change a bit more because we learn more stuff as we go on than we learned before.
Well, but exactly, and same with science. But it's sort of what we're trying to discover are the facts of the matter about a society way back when, and it's a subject that I've wanted to go into. So if there's any particular topic that you think that you're like aware or of like a video or something that is really just like it, you're throwing your book at the wall and everything when you're watching it because you're like, this is so bad for all of these very clear reasons that they're just ignoring. That's what we love to cover.
You mentioned two things real fast. You mentioned Reagan before and history stuff. I thought it was funny, how sometimes the GOP used to worship Reagan and stuff. If they still do or not, but it's funny. One of his famous speeches was like tear down this wall, it's like the Berlin Wall. Trump's famous speech was build up this wall. How the things have changed in 30 years. Like build up this wall.
Yeah.
Tear down the wall.
Oh.
And then I heard it somewhere. I think my dad mentioned it too before he died. Someone said one time people who are considered conservative 30-40 years ago nowadays would be considered liberals since this shift has gone so far in the other direction. And that's true or not, but I heard that one time.
Yeah.
Wait, you heard what? Can you say that again?
People 30-40 years ago that were considered conservative would be liberal now, or moderate or liberal now.
It depends. Yes and no. Congressman, yes. People, no. And I say that because, like, I can't even say congressman. I would say it's kind of weird. Republicans, yes. Everyone else, no. And I was just actually fighting with people last night.
You
Bill
with bad bigots?
No, it wasn't even bigots. It was other liberals.
Oh, okay.
Because they were saying that like Bill Maher has changed, and I'm like, no. Bill Maher has not changed. That's the actual problem. Bill Maher is the same person he was 30 years ago, and shit changes.
And he's so sure that he is as right now as he may or may not have been then.
But I mean, he's still stuck in, I don't know, you may be too young to have watched Sex in the City, but there's one episode I remember like that just always sticks out in my mind where Carrie's like, I always thought that bisexuality was layover on the way to Gay Town. And that really was the thought process back in like 2000, the year 2000. And if you have that thought now, you're almost considered a bigot, like, because we've progressed. And it's not just that, but there's, other stuff like we're saying. In 1988, you couldn't be gay in high school. And now, if you're in a major city, you have gay friends. You have friends with gay parents.
If you're anti-gay, it's a problem for you.
Yeah.
In a lot of places.
The bigot has the problem.
The bigot has the problem, which, I mean, bigots should have problems. People who want to go out and just hurt other people should have problems.
Or even tell people how to live their life.
It's funny. People like talking about a new thing. Like the new thing now is people being anti-trans. Like I'm not anti-gay or anti-black or anti-sexual, but I'm anti-trans now. And I'm thinking if you're anti anything, is a slope to being anti-everything.
I see where you're coming from, but that does. A position like that immediately lends itself, because it walked into it, to the criticism, you're not tolerant of intolerance. And because it walked into it. That's a bad argument. It's universally a bad argument, but you don't have to walk into it.
I'm bad. That's why I don't argue stuff. I'm a bad debater.
I mean, I don't think I'm a particularly good debater. I just think that I kind of look like Vosh. I have a PhD that I'm just willing to shill out and just let that inflate my ego. I have a huge ego. It is a gargantuan ego, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you say so?
Maya's like, but I love you, Vandy.
But anyways,
that's exactly what I was saying.
That's a new thing now, and I'm like, that's the same thing people thought. Like they're not people. Like that's the same thing people thought about. Like you can't marry a black person. You can't marry a same-sex person. People. That's the same thing people said before. And
what do you mean? Like that you're anti-trans?
Well, not me, but people. They said, "Oh, that's not natural." That's like the same thing people said about people.
It's not real.
20 years ago.
And that, I think, is the difference. I think there is a more pervasive, and for the record, I don't generally want to go too into this topic as a cis white man. But there is a pervasive sense in which people are like, that's not real about trans identities, in a way that they don't generally deny about gay or queer identities other than trans. Queer is sort of a very broad word, which means a lot of things. But people don't tend to say, as often. It totally happens. But they don't tend to say as often that you're not actually attracted to the people that you think you're attracted to.
Yeah. You're
actually just this other thing. Whereas with trans people, they're just like, no, you're just... It's just a complete negation of the person's identity.
Yeah. Yeah, which, I mean, I understand that they don't understand. I didn't understand. I think everybody who is not trans or questioning, bought into the narrative where, male equals boy and, female equals woman.
I didn't fully understand it first either, but I'm just like, it's not.
Then you shut the fuck up and you ask some questions.
It's not me. It's not me. If they say they are, I don't. Whatever. I'm not gonna fight against it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of.
Why do you care?
Right.
Just-
Well, I mean, I care. I care because I want to learn. I want to understand. I want to know how to help and support. That's why I care.
Yes.
Other people care because they want, for the same reason that they hate that people color their hair blue. Just like, I need to see things the way I want to see things. You don't have the right to see the world the way you view it in your head. That shouldn't be an expectation. People have the right to be who they want to be, and we don't require your acceptance. So you can at any time turn your head and not look at me, and it is totally all right. Oh, Bree's still here. Cool. Love you, Bree. Oh no, I go full mama bear Bree. I don't know why I am so protective of her. I remember I went we went to see Math Pig in Missouri, St. Louis, but she went to the bathroom and she was gone longer than I wanted her to be gone. And in my head, there's bigots, with I don't know, burning crosses outside of the women's bathroom, and I'm like, oh shit. And so Math Pig walks up, and I'm just like, Bree went to the bathroom, and he's like, yeah. And I'm like, holy fuck, I don't want to have to explain that we're in a red state and bigots, and we had to walk in through a gun, a metal detector because bigots like their guns.
Wait, hold on, wait.
Can you just please escort me to the bathrooms? I'll go in the women's, you go in the men's. We need to figure out where she is and make sure she's not being harassed because holy fuck. And but he's just staring at me, and I don't know what to say without it looking like I am too a bigot. I just need you to understand American politics, and that we need to go make sure she's okay because bigots I think are mentally ill and they're not okay. And if they fuck with her, I have to burn this whole building down. And so all that's going on in my head. But no,
Maya, you're a black woman. This is Missouri. Okay, you're not making it out of it.
I'm not. I will go the fuck off, and it will go unwell for all of us. Of that, I'm certain.
Well, hold on.
So we just need to make sure the bigots aren't fucking with Bree, so I don't get us all thrown in jail.
Were you packing?
No, just my hands and my feet.
Because
we weren't allowed to pack because we.
Where were you? Because that's not that really isn't that typical. Having to walk through a
the St. Louis Arches. It's a national.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. That I can believe. Our 8th grade field trip. We did not go to Washington D.C. like everybody else does.
Oh,
we went to St. Louis.
I went to I did 8th grade Washington. I nearly got lost in Washington.
Yeah, well, it's a nightmare in Washington.
Well, no. I was. The funny thing is, we were at the I think the Vietnam Memorial thing, and
the Vietnam Wall of Death, as they call it in the West Wing.
Well, I started seeing class leave, so I left with them, and 5 minutes later I realized I have no idea who these kids are. I followed the wrong class.
Oh my god, that's hilarious!
I ran back, and they were still there. My school was still there, but yeah, people were leaving. Let's go. I'm like, okay. So I started following people.
No, we went to Springfield for whatever reason, but we worked it out.
We were going to go to Chicago in 6th grade, but we were so bad. Our class was so bad. Our 6th grade trip was canceled. That only ever happened one other time, and that was during 9/11. Everything was canceled then. But yeah, we were so bad, we could go to Chicago in 6th grade.
Interesting. From Ohio. Okay. I just thought Illinois kids did that. But yeah, we went to Springfield. It was the capital. So we went to Chicago for a different field trip. But yeah, no, and which I don't know. I was in a red state, and I was just I don't know. It was
yeah,
kind of weird to me. But then we were who was it? Oh God, I always forget her name. But like there's another girl. So she was from Missouri, and I just reiterated what I said to Math Pig to her, and she was like, "Oh fuck, where'd she go?" And I'm like, "I don't know, over there." And she's like, "Well, let's go." And then Bree came back, and all was well with the world. So I was like worried over nothing, but
the only other girl I know from even vaguely around that area. Did you say was a guy or girl?
It was a girl, and why don't I? Bree, you know who I'm talking about.
The only one I know who's remotely in the vicinity of St. Louis is Bree. And you're obviously not talking about Bree.
Yeah. Well, Bree was a girl I was with, but
both like that. Both bathroom and stuff. Both you and Bree are old enough to remember this show. Back show Boy Meets World. Do you remember that show?
Savage Minnow. God damn.
But yeah, one of the things was, and when they went to college, they had a whole co-ed bathroom in that college. Like both boys and girls went to the same bathroom. And when this happened, the new thing happened. You know, people can't use the right bathroom and stuff. I'm like, 20 years ago, they had this bathroom. Everyone's in the same bathroom and shower thing. It was no big deal, at least on the TV show. But it's like, why is this a big deal about bathrooms now?
Yeah, right? It's like it's just
because assholes don't have their own minds.
Yeah.
And will rage whenever Fox News tells them.
I mean, on the show at the time, the main character Corey was. It was not because he was anti-trans, but he was like scared of having girl see him naked or something. I guess with the show, but yeah,
lovely.
There's a whole episode about it, but yeah. Have you ever watched Boy Meets World back in the day?
Watch what?
It was early on. It would have been on the I think
season 6.
Well, I don't remember. I just remember that Corey and Topanga were like the canonical couple of my childhood.
Yeah, was this?
Well, yeah. But like my young childhood. For you, it would have been like your.
I grew up with them. They were about my age, so I had the crush on Daniel Official Topanga growing up.
Oh yeah, no, I'm like 90% sure that Hermione Granger was based off of her.
Well, might have, because technically they were in the books. Technically in the books they were 90s kids, 90s teenagers. They would have graduated in 98, like we did. So if their school year had gone completely thing, they graduated the same year we did.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I
wasn't a big. A lot of my friends were fans of that show. I wasn't a big one, but I kept up with it just because it was one of those things like Friends where you couldn't not know what was generally going on.
I taped every episode in my VCR.
I believe you.
Hey, it's it's starting to get kind of late.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. It's been about 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
So anything you want besides your
let me find a link for it. You don't have a link to the do you have a link to the specific stream yet, Maya?
To me? Do I have a link to what?
The tomorrow's stream, or do you still need?
Oh God, no! It's Saturday. I don't get the links up until like 5 minutes before the show starts.
That's fine. Yeah. I have MayaAdkisson.com. I'm not a mod, am I? I can't.
I'm not either. What the fuck is going on here?
You need to make Maya a mod. That's not. I'm never coming on again if you don't make Maya a mod right now.
Whatever.
Maya, write in chat real fast. So I can tag you.
Okay.
Are you in the right account? Did you switch accounts? Oh, hey.
No, probably not. Hold up.
Oh.
I can do all of those things. History.
Right? No, Regios knows what's up. Their personalities, as far as I can tell, are very similar. They're both really smart. They've got bushy brown hair. It's great.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You know what? Here.
Well, Bree and I have already put it in the thing.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Like,
Yeah.
I forgot, like, I can't make you a mod unless I tag you in chat.
Right.
So while you're doing that, besides bad Science Sundays, anything else you guys want to advertise coming up in your channels?
Yeah, Doc, would you like to advertise your channel?
So my channel is a fantastic channel that everybody should go and subscribe to immediately because I'm Dr. Tapioca Weasel and it's fantastic. And I'm going to go ahead and chill for myself right here. I got 31 subscribers. It's the same number as the number of years that I am old, and I have no content. Fantastic.
I was the first subscriber.
Yeah,
you
I
have
think,
such terrible judgment, Maya.
yeah, I think talking about that real fast. I think the new smart girl nowadays in fiction thing would be Annabeth Chase in the Percy Jackson series. She's the new smart girl. You ever read the Percy Jackson series?
I haven't read it, but I should have. It's like it's very much the sort of thing that somebody in my demographic would have read.
Yeah, it's a mythology series, and she's the smart god's daughter, Athena. So she's the smart girl in the series.
Good to know.
Oh, that reminds me. I remember people making a big deal about that when they were same thing happened with Spider-Man when they made her like when they made MJ black. People were like these, and now they're making her black, and people were like making a big deal about. I'm like I don't care, because you watch the new Spider-Man series with Tom Holland.
I haven't actually. I haven't seen literally the last Spider-Man movie I saw that came out. Spider-Man movie. I've seen the new Spider-Man in Avengers movies. Was The Amazing Spider-Man. Last time I saw a Spider-Man movie, and I'm pretty sure that was in like 2013.
Yeah, actually, I'm reviewing that. I'm actually reviewing that movie in 2 weeks. But yeah. People make a big deal about Zendaya playing Mary MJ. I'm like, when I watch the movie, like she's a much better character than Kristen Dunst. She's really much better than Kristen Dunst ever was. So I didn't really care. But anyways, that's totally off topic now. Just random.
Story of our lives, man. But yeah, no, I don't have anything else.
All right.
I often have to rein him in because he's always going off topic.
So, do you guys have a catchphrase you say in your streams?
No.
Oh, we should get one.
I have so many things I should work on.
You're the first person to bring it up.
Catchphrase.
Oh.
Waka waka. Like I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Did you give Maya a wrench? Because
yes.
Okay, because you give me a wrench, and that's just irresponsible if you're not.
Yeah, and that was. Yeah, don't do that. He is irresponsible.
Yeah.
Oh, I gave Brie a wrench years ago.
Well, that just makes sense.
Brie, yeah. If I ever actually do create content, I'm gonna hard code it so as soon as I produce content, Maya's gonna get a wrench, and then I'm gonna take it away and mock her. And Bree's gonna get a wrench, and I won't take it away because Bree's awesome. And then I'll probably just sit there and try to figure out how to screw with Regios.
All right. See, advertising for me. Next week we're gonna be talking about Kingdom Hearts characters in the video game series. Then in 2 weeks we're gonna be talking about Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man series. Then 3 weeks Bree's gonna be on talking about spiders. So like it could be a 2-week spider thing.
Aww.
Fictional and real spiders. And then for the finale for this year's finale, we're gonna be talking about the fall of the Roman Republic.
The fall of the Roman Republic. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, a whole variety of issues next for November, from video games to biology to history. So pick your poison.
Oh yeah. Apparently, I'm supposed to ask like, how often do you think about is it the Roman Empire?
If I think about it,
How often do you think about it? Yeah.
yeah, whenever I'm bored, I guess.
Whenever you're
I
bored,
don't know.
like
I think about
often.
history in general.
Like you think about the Roman Empire often.
Not me personally, but Roman Empire.
No, you personally.
Not really. Just
No.
I like history. Persian, Romans, Greeks, medieval,
So
modern.
often.
Like history. But yeah. Yes.
The stream was about how magnets work, and we still haven't figured it out, Doctor.
But anyways,
Not responding.
yeah, my catchphrase is never.
Hey Doc, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
I don't think I should talk about my masturbatory habits here.
But yeah, that's
Fair.
what my current. The Roman Empire is what was my current history guy talking about. I've had him talking about history of England, history of West Africa, France. Now we're going to Rome. Anyways,
All right.
Okay.
like so you get
No, it was a what do you call it? It's a TikTok actually, where women are asking the men in their lives like, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? And I was actually like shocked at how frequently men think about it. I wouldn't have guessed.
well, anyways, I'll let you guys come up with your own catchphrase for tomorrow's show. But as for me, never stop learning and enjoy the randomness. I'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.